Most people go through their lives thinking there's a massive spotlight above their heads. They become petrified of change and failure because they fully believe either of those things will lead to judgment from the eyes of others. This leaves them perpetually stuck in their own comfort zone. What they fail to realize, however, is that absolutely nobody cares. What is up, YouTube? For those of you who are new here, my name is Aidan Helfant. I am a rising freshman at Cornell University who makes videos on all sorts of things. I like to help people make their own journey through life by sharing the various things I have learned over the course of mine. Hopefully through the process, we can all come out as happier, healthier, and more fulfilling people. Today we're going to be going over one of the greatest teachers outside of school, failure. Failure is a word that often brings about many negative connotations. In this video, we're going to be discussing why so many people see failure as a bad thing, why it's actually often greater than success, and then finally what we can do to change failure into a guide rather than to a thing to avoid like the plague. As discussed earlier, most people go through their lives thinking there's a massive spotlight above their heads. This is a phenomenon known as the spotlight effect. Because of this, they assume that every one of their actions and mistakes is being heavily analyzed by those around them. Their classmates are looking at every single piece of clothing they wear, and their teachers are judging them for every question they get wrong on a test. This leads them to becoming absolutely terrified of change. They believe that any misstep or any action that disagrees with their normal life routine or self-image will cause them to be heavily judged by those around them. Instead of stepping out of their comfort zone and doing things that they know will result in failure, they play the safe route and stick mostly to easy and predictable situations. Ironically enough, this fear of failure becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because they're so afraid of making mistakes, they end up living life at a fraction of their true potential, leading to more judgment than they ever would have gotten had they stepped out of their comfort zone in the first place. Failure is the greatest teacher because it almost always occurs when we step out of our comfort zone. It's hard to fail at something if we never take the opportunity to do it in the first place. I mean, how could you possibly fail at sitting in your bed and scrolling through Instagram feeds for endless hours, simply wasting time? Failure teaches us to change. It tells us that we set out to do something, it can truly do it if we just attempt it from a different angle. What does success tell us? Good job. You did it. Now I guess do it again. Success keeps us the same and only strengthens our comfort zone further, making future growth and change even harder than it already was. Of course, that's not to say that success is bad. It's only to say that oftentimes success without previous failure does more harm than good. Imagine you're at a funeral. You don't know whose funeral it is, but the room is gargantuan. You can't estimate exactly, but there could easily be tens of thousands in the singular space. There's a soft, gloomy atmosphere, and slowly, one by one, your distant relatives, close friends, business partners, and even once-seen strangers begin to get up and speak in front of the casket. The first speaker arrives at the pedestal, and the casket is opened. It's you. This is your funeral, and everyone you have ever known has come to speak about you. The only question that remains is, what will they say? Will they describe you as a time waster? Someone who sat at home all day, withering away their life on distractions? Will they describe you as a starter of petty arguments? Someone that always seemed to be in a bad mood no matter what? This experience brings up one key question. What would you want to be said about you at your funeral? If you go through life with the end in mind, you'll become more aware of what you're doing is something that aids in your ideal funeral experience. Oftentimes, it's not that we don't want to follow our deepest goals or dreams, but that we're forgetting to because of the monotony of daily life. It's easy to put off visiting Greece or writing the book we always wanted to when we get caught up in all the little meaningless affairs we have enveloped ourselves in. If we can find a way to write down our thoughts or goals on paper or online, like talked about in my note-taking vid, we'll be reminded to set forth and accomplish our greatest desires. This in turn will teach us not only to accept failure, but embrace it. Going forward in life, we'll know that failure doesn't mean we didn't accomplish what we set out to do, but that we are currently on track to do so. Whenever we experience failure, we'll know that we are stepping out of our comfort zone and doing things that will build toward our ideal funeral experience. failure will stop being seen as a hindrance, but rather as a guide to the most important things in life. Thanks so much for watching the video. As always, if you guys enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see more content on my channel, be sure to check out my video on note-taking, putting things first, and sleep. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.